So if we move on to the index graph on the left, there's a lot of mathematics that go into creating this. First off, in this area over here, we figure out what is the index performance. To do that, what we basically do is take a look to see whether high values are good or bad. If they're good, we use this first equation here, which is basically, in this case, 100 plus actual minus target divided by target multiplied by 100. If high values are bad, it's the same formula, but it's minus instead of plus. And that way, that compensates for whether high values are good or bad. So that's what this first square does, and it calculates it for each comparative and for each quarter. If any of the data is 0, it returns a pound NA. Over on this side, we take one step further. What we do is, if it's pound NA, in this case is error cell 03, it replaces it with the number 100. And what that does is it puts the value right at 100, which happens to be the axis of this graph. And that makes the data line disappear. If it's 100, we're just going to replace it with the number 101. So we end up with a little bar that just pops above. Otherwise, we put in the number from over here. So in this case, it passes all the tests and puts in the same number. If, on the other hand, we happen to have a value of 100 in here, it'll actually populate it with 101, and that way there's a little tiny bar that pops up above the graph so that you can know that there's actually data there. So that's how this index is calculated on every single chart, and it just grabs the data from over here. Now in this case, the data actually comes out to, we're performing at only 19% of target. The chart, on the other hand, we were told to set the minimum to 60 and maximum to 140. So in this case, even though the actual number is 19, it merely goes to the 60% of target, and you don't get to see exactly where it ends up. So that's how it works for each of the measures.